Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for watching my eyes retouching tutorial from last week. As I promised, I'll be uploading one video a week. So today's video is more about how do I actually retouch my photos. This is going to be all about my workflow from A to Z. This does not include anything related to the raw processing, but whatever after the raw processing has been completed, whatever I do on the photos, it's actually going to be mentioned in all the layers over here, and I will explain layer by layer by turning them on and off and explaining how I actually retouch a portrait. Actually, last week someone asked me this question on my Facebook page exactly about this particular portrait, that how did I actually retouch it. So this is the original out of camera, and if I turn that off, this is how it looks like after retouching. So if you notice, like, this is the original photo. So the first thing what I do usually is I liquefy the photos and see what I need to fix, minor tweaks left and right. So I'll show you guys. I'm just gonna grab a pen brush tool here and bring the flow all the way to the end, and I'm gonna pick a color which is not in the shot so you guys can see what it is. Alright, so if you notice, like, you know, if I turn that on in liquefy tool, I actually increased overall. I'm just gonna create a layer right above here so it's not messing with my photo. Alright, so here, like, I just liquefied here a little bit, like, you know, add a bit more volume in here. So if I turn that off and on, you will have a look. Alright, so, and then also on this side, like, just push the shoulder a little bit in, which was not really needed, but I like, you know, when I think I was liquefying, I just did it. Alright, so the second step, this layer is for the sharpening of eyes, and you saw that layer before as well, so I'm not gonna open that. We will see, like, if you open that, like right now, look, notice eyes over here. Alright, so if I turn it off and on, it's just like a sharpening tool from there, sharpening the eyes. Alright, so these are all my dodge and burn layers. I will be doing another video on how to actually do dodge and burn. I'm gonna turn this off for a while. I also do not create a separate layer for any kind of healing or cloning. I actually do all sorts of healing and, you know, patching on the photo itself. So if I close that, you notice, like, wherever I'm gonna go back to the brush tool and see, like, you know, wherever the issues you can see, the minor blemishes here, there, minor tweaks left and right, over there, there. So this is my usual workflow. What I do is I usually mark where I really need to fix a few things. Alright, so about there, about that here. So if I turn that on and turn that off, you see, like, I took out by healing and patching all of that particular pieces around. So for the dodge and burn, what I did on this photo is actually, if I open the dodge and burn layer, you will see a very high difference in the photo. For example, I'm gonna turn that on and I'm gonna erase all of this, whatever I have just done recently. So I'm just gonna get rid of all of these lines so I can actually show where actually I have done dodge and burn. So one of my techniques of dodge and burn, what I do usually is turn the photo in black and white mode. So I use a gradient map, like, you know, which actually creates a black and white layer on the top. And let's turn these off for a while, and these two as well. And see here, this is original. Wherever you can see, I'm gonna grab the brush tool again, and so, like, you know, this particular area over here, a bit of nose around there, and this area over here, this area over here. Alright, if just watch when I turn the dodge and burn layer on, those areas are actually being cleaned up using dodge and burn. One of the advantages of using dodge and burn is that, like, you don't lose any details on the skin. This was shot using Sony a7R III camera and a Sony 85 f1.4 GM lens, and it was shot on 1.4, so you can see whatever the possible details on skin you could get out of that. We have it here. So why I create very multiple groups of dodge and burn is, like, you know, my basic workflow is, like, I fix a few things using dodge and burn with the brush tool, and then After that, once I'm done, like I go the second level, like, you know, further detail. So if I want to go back and on a particular step, I can always go back. And then like on the third, if you open that, you can't see, yeah, there are minor details like, you know, more work, add more light in the nose, in here, around the lips, in here, all that area, a bit of in the eyes as well. So that's all done using dodge and burn. After that, I'm gonna turn that off so we can actually see the color balancing. If I go in here and turn that on a little bit, so I'm not sure if you can notice a massive difference. If I turn that off and turn that on, so the color correction is, if I double click on that just to show you what I have done here in the color correction wheel, it's like added a bit more red and added a bit more green because I like a bit more green look in my beauty shots, and -7 to add a bit more yellow. I haven't touched from memory any of the shadows and highlights. I worked on the midtones, but if you want to, I'll be doing a tutorial on how to actually color correct a photo, and there I will explain what's the difference between the shadows, midtones and the highlights. Alright, going forward, I think that I added a bit of color in her eyes. So if you notice, like, you know, her eyes naturally are blue, but once you add a little bit of yellow tones, they actually impact on the eyes as well. So I took that color got taken out by adding yellow, so I had to put a photo filter back on and add a bit more blue in her eyes. Then I did a bit of more fixing on the color using the selective color, which was more on the background. If I go back, have a look at the background when I turn that color correction off. So if I turn that off, it looks like that, and if you turn that on, you see like I darkened the background up. I'll add a bit more red in there just to add a bit more drama to the shot. After that is a bit of hue and saturation. If I click on that, you won't be able to see the major difference, but it's been done on the eyes. So usually what happens is when you add yellow to the photos, eyes also become yellow. So that particular thing is like I created a saturation layer, desaturated the yellows, and just brushed that area just to get that yellows out over there. After that is a curve layer, which is not doing anything, it's just there. Then the color balance is probably just to fix something, but I haven't used that as well. And then there's a saturation layer, just probably, I think there's a bit of yellows saturation taken out because I noticed that like it was a bit too much of yellow in there, so just desaturated yellows using that. The next curve layer is I just actually pushed light in the photo. So if I go back into the curve layer, if you notice, I just like created a small, very tiny kind of thing, like bump the light up, drop the shadows a little bit just to add a bit more drama and contrast in the photo. And the last is, if you go into the exposure, like, you know, in the offset correction, like you can probably give your photos a little bit more cinematic look, like if you go in that way, or that actually starts burning the colors. So like, you know, probably just a tiny touch of that over there, just to give a bit more cinematic look. And if you turn that off and on, you'll be able to see what it is. All right. So technically speaking, as I said, like it's about 15 to 20 minutes of work depending on how long you've been retouching. As I said last time as well, I use vacuum tablet to do my retouching. That helps me doing my dodge and burn really fast and saves me a lot of time and achieve some good quality results. And like, you know, and as I go, as I said, like every retoucher does things differently. Some people like their photos really blue, a bit more cold. Some people like their photos really warm. I personally like my photos very warm and nice colors. So I usually hike up a little bit on yellows and orange and all that, especially when I'm raw processing. I'll be doing a video on the raw processing as well. How do I do my raw processing on the photos? So that's pretty much it is. And don't forget to like the video and also comment below if you have any questions. Also, if you want me to do a video on specific technique or you are looking for any answers to any of your questions, Just feel free to comment below or send me an email on info@artxstudios.com.au. And thank you so much again for watching the last video, and hope you will like this one as well. I'll do my best to have the next video uploaded as soon as possible, probably less than a week. And that's gonna be more on Dodge and Bird. Alright guys, thank you so much and see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye.